On today's show, we have Kevin Quinn. Kevin, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you, Jacob?
We're wonderful. We're wonderful. Well, we want to start off the show with something classic, something when people knew that we were interviewing you, um, people wanted to know something, and it's in your blood, it's in your DNA. It's something like hanging out with someone new, then falling out of a camp canoe. What's that smell? It's on your shoe.
Kiki Waka, yeah. Oh man, I'll never
Yeah, they
be
want to
able
know about Bunk'd,
to live it
man.
down. Yeah, it haunts me in the best worst ways
Sure.
because it gave me a career, like
Yeah.
for sure, but also I can't live it down.
Yeah.
That's a is that one of those songs do you have to sing when you're out performing, or you just kind of avoid it?
I avoid it. Yeah, I never
Yeah,
sing
yeah,
that song,
Yeah, I would avoid it. Yeah.
yeah.
but I get asked quite a bit.
Oh,
I
I'm
I hate
sure. I'm sure.
being the bearer of bad news, but I will never sing that song.
Yeah. No, Jacob has little ones like around 10 years
Preteens.
old,
Yeah.
and they're all, all about it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's about the age. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they eat up that show, man. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. Like that show has gone on for man, like 7 seasons now, and I cannot believe it's still on the air. It's
Yeah.
at some point it has to end.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, please. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, tell us a little quick about your story and how you came to your faith, and yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so let's see. I grew up in Chicago. And I was just a kid who loved music. I told myself I wanted to be a musician when I got older, and that came to fruition around the time of high school, and I started taking choir classes, and I auditioned for American Idol just for because I thought it would be fun, and I didn't expect to get anywhere, but lo and behold, I
Mhm.
actually get invited on the show, and that sort of opened the door to a music career, or at least I thought it would. Ironically, that opened the door to more of an acting career for me. That was just the way it
Mhm.
went for me. I don't know if it's just because of a reality TV show and you're in front of the cameras, but it did lead to an acting career, and my music career just kind of got put on the back burner for a bit, which I was fine with because I was happy to have my foot in the door with the entertainment industry. I never
Yeah.
really thought I was going to be an actor first. I always wanted to be a musician and a musician first, but acting just worked out more quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there I started, developing my acting career, and then that gave me an opportunity to eventually sign with Capitol CMG and revisit my music career, which I was very excited about, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much been my life thus far. It's been kind of dabbling in both worlds of the entertainment, film and TV industry, and then the music industry, and living life somehow in the meantime. It sounds
Yeah.
like the slogan for like a sitcom. Like Kevin Quinn struggles with living life in between a music career and an entertainment career. Join Thursday nights on NBC. As I said, I was like, wow, that sounds like some kind of sitcom slogan.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, and now here you are, got some new music out, new album, Real Me, released a few months ago. Tell our viewers and listeners about this album.
Yeah, so this album is a very personal album for me. It was the first time that I had ever opened up on a subject that I've been dealing with for a long time, but have never publicly spoken about, and that is mental health.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was afraid to open up about it for a long time just because I didn't know what the response would be from listeners or the industry. So I kind of just went for it. And after going through this like extremely impactful experience, I kind of just said, screw it. Like, I don't really care what the response is. This is my truth, and I'm just going to write about it and make music about it. And I was sent off to a residential treatment facility in Arizona, where I lived very briefly, to address some of these mental health issues. You know, some would call it rehab, but I prefer the term treatment. But yeah, it was a really life-changing experience for me. And in the process, I got the help that I needed to live a fulfilling life again. Because my life before that was really in shambles. I mean, I was on tour with Winter Jam at the time, and somehow I was able to do my job. And I don't even think, like, you know, the Winter Jam folks knew necessarily what I was struggling with in private during that time, because I just was able to put on a face and hide it pretty well. But I mean, I was really struggling, like, even just to do my job on that tour. But every night I got up and I got up on that stage and I did my set and I got it done. But it was really difficult because I was getting to a point where my mental health was not allowing me to function in an optimal capacity. And it was like 5 days after I flew back to LA and got home that I, you know, my family and girlfriend were like, hey, you don't seem well. I'm going to drive you to the emergency. And that's where it all started for me. And then from there, I went on, man, a 16-month treatment journey in bettering myself. And you know, it was the most difficult experience of my life. But suffice it to say, I came out a truly better person and made some really important life changes that needed to be made. And that was around the same time that I started writing Real Me about this experience. And, you know, the response so far has been incredible. And, you know, the way that I feel very grateful to be able to speak about this issue and people respond so positively. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and they were like, you know, I'm struggling with this, but your music is what's getting me through. Or, you know, I relate because I also struggle with that and this and that. And, you know, people are just responding in a very personal way and they're relating to the music, which I guess is all you can hope for as a musician.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely a great album and just very relatable on multiple different like avenues. Just dealing with all those mental health and everything like that things. And one of my favorites that has been on repeat is the song Blessed. And we'd just like to know the story behind that one.
Well, I mean, Bless is part of the larger message of the album. Like, for as much as the album is about mental health, it's also about my faith in struggling with my mental health. And part of my mental health journey and like going to these treatment centers and everything, there were a lot of conversations with God that took place and that I, you know, was pretty much forced to have because I was at my lowest low. And so, you know, the faith-based elements of the album all come from those conversations. And Blessed is kind of like part of that, which is like, you know, at some point I'll just take any good day, you know, just one good day is enough for me. And in that like one day, it's like lately, yeah, I'm feeling blessed and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And I forget what it is. I think there's a verse in the Bible that like talks about how before it says something like, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but before you come to me and pray for the things that you want, like take a look at all that it is you already have. It says something like that. I can't remember the exact verse, but that to me is like the epitome of what blessed is. It encompasses that message, which is like, you know, I feel like a lot of the time we want certain things or we pray for certain things. But we also already have a lot. And it's those, you know, things that we should feel blessed about at any given time.
That's good. Well, this is a fan-based podcast, and we had a fan of yours write in, and she wants to know. Her name's Allison from Orlando, Florida, and she wants to know the story behind your song "I'm Still Breathing."
Yeah, it's funny. I'm Still Breathing was also kind of about my mental health struggle at the time, And whereas I've been very open in like the publicity of this album and very honest that Real Me is about mental health. I was writing about mental health before I like opened up and actually said I was writing about mental health,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm Still Breathing. I'm Still Breathing was about, I was struggling with the loss of a friend who had passed away around the time that I wrote that song. And I felt like this sort of survivor's guilt where it was like, if he had passed away at such a young age, then why is it that I'm still here? Kind of like this survivor's guilt. But through it all, it's like I'm still breathing. And for some reason I'm supposed to be here. So that's like a combination of mental health, but also grief. And a lot of the earlier songs, like I'm Still Breathing. I think there was another one, like Over and Over Again might have hit a little bit about that. But at the time, the death of a friend of mine inspired a lot of those earlier writings in the first piece of work.
Yeah. So you talk like with writing your music, what is your like process look like? Because we like to get into the heads of different artists, and some of them are like, oh, my voice memos. It is all a bunch of voice memos. Like I'll get something and I'll go to my voice memos or type in a note. What does that look like for you? Or are you like have to sit down and just write some out, or how does that look like?
I do use voice memos. All the time I use it. Whether or not I actually circle back to all my voice memos and use them on the day of the session, I don't typically do that. I have done it in the past, but I usually the way I write, I have like my crew, and so it's like I tend to write with the same people. And so I will go into the studio and I'll just kind of be shooting the breeze with like, a producer and a top liner. And then whatever producer I'm working with will start building a track like as I'm speaking. And that will kind of get me like in my feels, and I'll start like humming some melodies. And I always kind of hum melodies relative to the track that's currently being produced. So I tend not to come in with a melody that's been like predetermined on my voice memos. I kind of keep it organic in that way. But yeah, that's like the first step is always melodies relative to the track that's being built as we're in the session, and then I'll add lyrics onto it. But that's pretty much always been my process, and it works for me.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it works for you. Yeah. So we'd like to go into this next segment. It is our favorite things, and we're just going to name a category, and you will just name your favorite thing in that. Sometimes it can get a little long, but however you want to answer, you can answer. So we'll start out pretty easy with your favorite food.
A good old-fashioned steak. Yeah, smothered in au jus or a steak sauce, maybe a little Parmesan crust. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
How do you like that steak cooked?
I tend to like it a little bit overcooked, like medium well. A little char,
Interesting.
That's what it gets divisive right there.
Yeah.
I know, because you'd think, right? Like, because it takes out all the flavor, but I don't know. And I do like medium rare steaks like every once in a while. It depends on the, like, I will say if it's like a steak, I have to have it medium rare, but if it's like a filet mignon, I tend to have it a little charred.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Silver Linings Playbook with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although I've seen a lot of good movies lately. I don't know if you guys are movie buffs, but I did spend some time watching the Oscar contenders of this last season, and I really, really loved Poor Things with Emma Stone.
Yeah.
I thought it was like so psychedelic and weird, but I was for it. It was really, really awesome.
All right. Do you have a favorite show to binge? Not bunk.
Yes, not Bunk'd. Man, I don't know the last time I watched Bunk'd, years and years and years ago. But lately it's Seinfeld.
There you go.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of have my comfort food TV shows that I can watch at like midnight on a weeknight when I'm supposed to be in bed, but I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
eat it breast, Seinfeld's one of those shows. Friends is another. The Office is a big one.
There
It's
you
probably
go.
my favorite like binge watch show of all time. And then I like some dramas too. Um, Maybe I am a comedy guy. I don't know. I can't really think of like any dramas like because they're not as bingeable. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
sitcoms are so easy to binge. That's my stance on it.
I'm sitting here in my office studio, and I have a TV in here, and The Office is on in the background. No volume. It's just there.
Because it's comfort food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly
Yeah.
what you mean. What episode is it? Do you know what's happening in it?
I just now looked up. It's a Halloween episode. They're all dressed up. Andy and Aaron, and she's wearing Wendy's. Yeah, one of the Halloween episodes.
Oh, Aaron's in it, so it's a later season.
Yeah.
Best, man. Best.
Do you have a favorite musical artist of all time?
Of all time. Oh man. See, that's a harder question. I mean, it's like tough to say that this is all time, but it may be for me. Because I do think he's like a modern songwriting icon and
Mhm.
and a guitar legend in the making is John Mayer, and he inspired a lot of my music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And favorite
And
song
I also,
of
was that?
his? Your favorite song
What?
of his?
Probably anything from Continuum, like Dreaming with a
Yep.
Broken Heart, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. Like that stuff to me feels like so, like even the fact that he covers Bold as Love, a Jimi Hendrix song in that album is so telling of like the kind of classic album that he intended to make.
Oh
with
yeah.
that. He succeeded. Like I think that album in 50 years is going to be like a modern rock classic.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoy his cover of Free Fallin' by Tom Petty.
Oh yeah. See, I love that album. Fun fact, he inspired a lot of my vocals and the way that I like deliver my vocals and my tonality and stuff just because I grew up on him.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I have a show, doesn't matter what the show is. It could be, a 50 city tour. It could be just a one-off gig. I always warm up my vocals to the Where the Light Is John Mayer album. And I sing along with it just because his vocals are like so raw and unfiltered in that live performance. And I use it as like I do my vocal warm-ups, and then once I'm a little bit warm, I'll sing like the Free Falling song and like two more from that album just to get my voice ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this might answer this next one, but your dream duet.
Yeah, I mean, it could be John Mayer. It could be. I also think it would be cool to have I think it'd be really cool to have a female vocalist, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I gravitate a bit towards female vocalists. I mean, dream, it would be really great to have Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, whether or not I think that's going to happen, I don't know, but sure, it would be nice to have like a really quality female vocalist like her, or like, Katy Perry. I always thought had a nice voice when she doesn't like add too much production or like pop vocals, like when it's the more stripped back kind of acoustic vibe, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like really any just quality female artist.
Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
I probably just like honey lavender.
Okay. I have never heard of that flavor of ice cream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said just like you were gonna say vanilla or something, and you come out with honey lavender.
I did kind of set it up.
It's
wrong.
just like
You know,
honey lavender. It's nothing.
Yeah.
it's nothing. Pick it up at your local Walmart.
Well, you guys, are you in Nashville?
I'm in Kentucky and he's in Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, because I was gonna say Nashville has a Jenny's ice cream, but you guys might have
Yep.
it too in like Louisville.
Yeah, we don't, but we're in Nashville quite often, so
Yeah. So if you
know
ever
Jenny's.
go to like the Jenny's in 12 South, like they have honey lavender, and there's this other place here in LA that used to be by one of my apartments, and they're really popular out here. They're called Salt and Straw. They're a West Coast ice cream company, so that I think they started in Portland, Oregon, but like I said, they're really popular, and they do honey lavender the best. So I would say, like, if you're looking to have good honey lavender ice cream, like go to Jenny's or Salt and Straw.
Yeah.
Is that like your
definitely have
go-to
to try it.
coffee drink too? Honey lavender?
No, but honey lavender latte is always good. My go-to coffee is I tend to like not anything like too sweet or with like syrups or anything like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have a favorite podcast or audiobook or do you listen to either?
Can I say my own podcast? I do have a podcast. Right. Actually, I mean, I like don't want to be that guy to like shout out my own podcast and say, "Hey, it's my favorite podcast." But like I will say I have enjoyed the process of making this podcast, just because in the same way that I'm making music about mental health, I have this opportunity to speak about mental health on this mental health podcast that I'm doing. And so, the goal was always for it to be like a resource to people who need it. In the same way that like people who want to hear the music and have their cup filled, like spiritually or just personally through the music, that they can also match that with like quality information and actual like evidence-based resources through the information on the podcast. And it's been really great so far. Like tomorrow I'm interviewing a psychiatrist from a company called Zinnia Health, which is like a residential treatment facility company. I think they have like a medical center in here in Malibu, California. But I will have an opportunity to speak with him tomorrow, just about like psychiatric medications and stuff like that, which is, it's not the most interesting thing in the world, but like it's very important for people that they have, certain like information regarding how they can like better their lives through actual like treatment and medicine. So that was always the goal of the podcast. And if anyone like needs to hear it, then, it's there. It's called Luminosity.
Luminosity. Okay. Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
Probably Exodus 14:14. Hold on, let me look at the wording of it, because it's different from the Message, which is the one that I read. 14:14. Yeah, the Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. But that's the New International Version.
Okay.
I can't remember what it is in the Message. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's something like God will fight the battle for you, and it's more like commercial in the Message, which is kind of why I like to read the Message, just because it makes it like current. But yeah, Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you. You need only be still, which obviously to me is like, if you're struggling and feel like that God is not responding to like your prayers or your hopes, whatever, or that you feel like lost on the battleground, quote unquote, it's like the Lord is still fighting for you, like whether you realize it or not. That's kind of what it means to me, and it's always stuck with me.
Well, you have gotten through the favorite things, so congratulations. Wasn't that bad?
All right. Nice. That wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. So, Kevin, what is next for you, and how can our listeners keep up with you?
Honestly, what is next for me? I do have like some projects that I'm working on. I have a film with J.K. Simmons that's supposed to be coming out in theaters in May, that people can catch, and I hope that they get an opportunity to see it. I'm going to keep making more music, hopefully, and keep living my life, and do my best to keep my head on straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been good so far, and God's been good, So I keep fighting and keep on going, and things are really starting to turn around for me, and I'm grateful,
Well, Kevin, to wrap up, we'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God's been doing in your life recently that would help build our viewers and listeners' faith.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have sort of been taken down this alternative path in life that I never thought I would be on. Not only in my the treatment of my I have a dog. He's not only in the treatment of my mental health, but also just in life and what I'm spending my time and energy on. And it's been really fulfilling to me. I don't it's not really the most relevant thing compared to what I'm doing with my entertainment and music career, because people, I tend to think they're probably not interested, they just care about my music and my movies. But it's been really fulfilling to me. I've actually taken a job in healthcare, and not because I needed to take it or anything, but just because I made the choice to go back to school. So I'm in college right now, at New York University. They're letting me do my program online, which is really great and easy for my schedule. But that was something I didn't think that God would do for me, is you're going back to school. But yet here I am going back to school. And then also I was so inspired by what I was learning in school that I asked NYU, I was is there any, I was very interested in healthcare through all this psychiatry stuff that I'm learning about and mental health stuff. So I asked them can you hook me up with a job in healthcare? And I'm interested in helping other people in that way. And so they were very kind to set up with an interview at a hospital here in Los Angeles. So a lot of my time I actually spend at the hospital doing this job. I work in cardiology right now, and I see patients with a cardiologist and kind of help the cardiologist take notes and gather data on triglycerides, cholesterol levels, pacemaker function. Is it a long-term thing? I don't know, but it's been really fulfilling for me to be extending who I am outside of just the entertainment industry, the music industry. And that was just something I didn't think that God would do for me, but I feel grateful.
That's good. Well, Kevin, thank you, man, for your time. And Real Me is out now. Download it, stream it. Is this on vinyl? Can people get this on vinyl?
I don't think so. I think it's just digital right now.
Okay.
But they can go on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, appreciate your time.